Next on Worcester News tonight, the city selects a construction manager for Polar Park. What set this firm apart from the rest? Plus, winter is over. How Central Massachusetts is preparing for the first day of spring. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. The Worcester Redevelopment Authority confirms a construction manager for Polar Park with a vote Wednesday. The Selection Commission agreed on Gilbane Hunt for over 4 other firms. The joint venture has experience working on Major League and AAA ballparks. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now in Worcester with more. Chandler?
Brittany, the WRA says it wasn't an easy decision. They say all firms were well qualified, but they're happy to be able to officially award the contract. Worcester's Polar Park is filling out its construction team's roster. The Worcester Redevelopment Authority awarded an initial $10.8 million construction manager contract to Gilbane Hunt.
The construction manager risk is essentially in another form. It's the general contractor. He then assembles all of the subcontractors to build the ballpark. This process is different in that the construction manager comes on at an early stage, now works with the design team as they do the plans. A selection committee made up of city staff, the baseball team's project manager, and architect recommended the Gilbane Hunt partnership over 4 other firms. Worcester's Chief Development Officer, Michael Traynor, says their collective experience gave them the edge they needed. Particularly building minor league ballparks. Part of the joint venture, Hunt has done a number of ballparks around the country. Gilbane's done a number of projects here in the city. A groundbreaking for the project is expected in July. Gilbane Hunt will be responsible for building the park and structured parking garage.
Aside from building a ballpark, we are building a new neighborhood in Worcester, and it's really exciting. The WRA, is all of our board members are happy to be part of this. Confirming the decision at a meeting Wednesday was quick. WRA Chairman Vincent Pedoni says they had been informed throughout the process. Moving forward, land takings, design, and construction details still need to be discussed. So this is one important step, but it's definitely not the last important step.
Gilbane Hunt has no comment on the contract. The Worcester Red Sox say their front office heard all 5 firms' presentation for the job and support the decision. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Wednesday marks the first day of spring, and the weather is reflecting it here in central Massachusetts. Temperatures cool this morning, but eventually hit 50 degrees. Thursday is looking like a different story with a storm moving in. For more, let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Kelly for a first look at our forecast.
It's been a quiet stretch of weather, cold at night, but after starting at 25, we made it to 50 this afternoon. We've got some rain near Chicago, snow near Lake Superior, a system off North Carolina. After several quiet days, weather systems are going to conspire and come at us from all directions. We are still in mostly clear sky. Some high, thin clouds came in. Big, bright moon in the sky. Tonight, it's only 221,000 miles away. They're classifying it as super again. Super close, super big, super bright, and not super cold, but it is freezing when we wake up in the morning. So temperatures do get down to the frosty levels. Clouds are going to thicken up. 10 o'clock in the morning, the sun is shining through the cloud. It's about 40 degrees. Now this is a little bit of rain coming in. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, up in the tops of the hills in the Berkshires, maybe even a couple of snowflakes. But we're going to get to 45 to 50. Tomorrow is mostly dry. Heavier rain comes in tomorrow night and is here Friday morning. So most of the storm we're tracking is going to be tomorrow night. We'll talk about that and a windy start to the weekend in a few minutes.
And the change in season has people in the city celebrating the milder temperatures and melting snow. The spring equinox also means longer days with more sunlight. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now. Cam, how's the sunshine out there?
Well, Brittany, it's 6 o'clock and I can still see the sun, so that's definitely a good thing. The actual spring equinox took place at 5:58, so we are officially in the season of spring. Tomorrow will be the first full day of the season, but that didn't stop people from going outside and enjoying the nice weather today. A thin sheet of ice on Worcester's Lincoln Pond didn't stop the ducks and geese from enjoying the first day of spring. Blue skies and sunshine had people in central Massachusetts out at Elm Park to enjoy the change in seasons.
It's good to actually get warm enough to come out and play on the playground and see the water move and see the ducks and the geese.
The spring equinox means the amount of sunlight and daylight will almost be equal. A relief to some as April approaches.
I think we've had worse winters than this one, but it's always nice to have the day where you can come out and walk and you're not all bundled up.
Being outside is the best portion, just to stay inside the house every day. It's a good thing just to go outside, work in the yard.
And while the season may be just starting, Herbertberg Florist is preparing for one of their busiest times of the year.
There's a lot of graduations, there's proms, there's Easter, there's other holidays. Mother's Day in May is probably the busiest holiday.
Owner Sally Jablonski is back in Worcester after volunteering in the Florists World Cup earlier this month. She says spring makes things much easier in the flower business.
The tulips, the daffodils, they're all available. So we can leave them. We don't have to deliver in the snow or the ice. It just makes it a lot easier.
And as the snow and ice continue to melt, some are happy to say goodbye to winter.
Well, we just moved here, so this is a really welcome back home here, this weather. So.
It's great. You can tell spring's right around the corner.
Now, temperatures were in the 50s today. You can see behind me that the Worcester Common Oval Ice Rink is just about melted at this point. Jablonski says that she has a few weddings lined up in the next few weeks, and that really opens the gates for flower season. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Ice cream lovers are celebrating with a free treat today. Dairy Queens across the country are holding Free Cone Day today. People who stop by the West Boylston location could get a free small vanilla soft serve cone. The restaurant's co-owner Arthur Perperis says it's one of their busiest days, so they bring in extra employees and ice cream.
Everybody's happy, big smiles. I'm already seeing a lot of kids. Some of the everyday customers, they're a little bit surprised, but they're happy too. So, oh, sure, I'll take my free cone.
We're like, oh, we have to come today. I'm on my spring break, so it's perfect.
And Perperis expects they'll be busiest around 7 o'clock once the workday is over and people stop by with their families. A West Boylston man is preparing to run in the Boston Marathon next month. It's a race he's participated in before, but says this year he's running for a special cause. Our Roslyn Flaherty joins us with the details. Roslyn?
Brittany, last year his wife noticed a spot on his ear. He did something about it right away, and it came back as melanoma. He is now running to raise awareness for early detection.
Neil Feldman is no stranger to running the Boston Marathon. April will be his 12th year participating, but this time he's running for a cause close to his heart.
Cancer doesn't really care how healthy you want to be.
1 week after running the marathon last year, his wife noticed this on his ear. The podiatrist knew something was wrong and had his friend, who's a plastic surgeon, look at it. He had it removed and tested. It came back as melanoma.
It was about 1 millimeter away from requiring a fairly extensive resection, which would have been my whole ear.
Feldman had to have more surgeries and scans, which came back negative. He says the scare was a wake-up call.
The best way to treat cancer is to not get it. The next best way to treat it is to get it early. And thank God I got it early enough.
He will be running on behalf of 1540 Connection. The organization helps people recognize warning signs of cancer early on. His biggest advice is to get checked.
If you think something's not right, you got to act on it. I did something about it almost immediately, and it saved my life.
He's not letting melanoma stop him, hoping to beat his time goal of 3 hours and 20 minutes, and he will be wearing protective clothing and sunscreen all the way to the finish line.
If I can do what I can to run, I'm going to run.
He's also hoping to qualify again for the marathon next year. Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
And meanwhile, we're getting our first look at the banners for this year's Boston Marathon. Last year's winner, Des Linden, helping unveil the banner. She was joined by Bill Rogers, a 4-time winner of the Boston Marathon. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh also on hand to unveil 2 memorials to remember the 5 lives lost during and after the marathon bombings in 2013. 2 markers will be going up on Boylston Street in the spots where the bombings took place. These will not be ready before this year's marathon, but you will be able to see the majority of the project completed by then. An absolutely incredible shot during the Special Olympics World Summer Games. Spencer resident Matthew Millett nailed a three-quarter court shot for the Team USA, beating Canada 35-18 on Tuesday. The American team is from Shrewsbury and has been together for more than a decade. Special Olympics Massachusetts says Millett and his team are strong competitors who never give up.
Rebound, took a quick dribble and just let it fly. And I was texting with him after the game, and he said, it was a great game and a lucky shot.
Wow, that was an amazing shot. I don't know how many times I've tried that on the basketball court and never got any close to even hitting the rim.
The team ended up winning a silver medal. They will return to Shrewsbury this weekend for a celebration at Town Hall. If you're feeling lucky, today might be the day to go buy a lottery ticket. The Powerball jackpot is now at $550 million. This translates to roughly $335 million to take home for the jackpot winner. The odds for taking home the massive amount of money, 1 in 292 million, but they aren't stopping some in Worcester from thinking about what they could do if they won.
I made sure my whole family's set. You know, my mama said she got her house. My sister set with college. You know, I got my own house. I got my own car. I just pretty much like to catch up and invest.
Buy a block. Neighborhood, yeah. Have my own street named after me, something like that, yeah. Give something to charity, you got to do that.
And tonight's drawing will take place at 11 p.m.